Hi guys, I'm here with the first of my Phantom Merchandiser vlogs. So I was merchandise in Walt Disney World fall 2016, and I was so blessed to get to work in Adventureland Liberty Square in Magic Kingdom. So basically Adventureland Liberty Square included the small shops in the Adventureland area, and also the Pirates of the Caribbean gift shop, the Ye Olde Christmas shop, and the Momente More, in addition to the glow carts where we sold awesome things like made with magic wands that change the color of the hats. It's really cool. And other frivolous light up items. But today I'm going to talk about the pros, the cons, and why I think merchandise is overall the best role for an entry-level CP. So, because I like to talk about the negative things first, we're going to talk about the cons. First off, it's kind of one that could go either way, but there's lots of possibilities with merchandise. There's lots of potential shops you could be in. You can have weird special training, like you could be in a resort, you could be in Disney Springs, you could be any of the parks. The possibilities are endless. I've even heard of like 1 or 2 CPs being put in the cast member store. But I think that was an extenuating circumstance. So, you could also have multiple work locations. And for some people like me who wanted to wear tons of costumes, it was like the best thing ever. But for some people who found their sizes at costuming a little harder to get, it was a pain. Merchandise, I'm not gonna lie, probably has the most inconsistent scheduling of any role in Walt Disney World. You literally will have a closing shift one night, in between an 8 and a 10-hour turnaround, and opening shift the next day. It's just gonna happen, and you just gotta put on your big girl pants and deal with it. Also, hours-wise, even though I was in Magic Kingdom, I didn't get those legendary overtime hours that everyone talked about. Because a lot depends on how your location is staffed. A lot of locations will put a lot of CPs or full-time cast members at, and because they anticipate so many people leaving early. And if they don't, you get less hours consequently. And if you're getting less hours, then you could be deployed or sent to a different location that you have no experience at, which happened to a couple of my friends. Also within merchandise, like, management can be inconsistent. You might have some amazing coordinators and leaders like I did, or you could have some that aren't so helpful or are like really sticklers for certain rules, and it's just like most are really nice and really chill and really understanding, but there are a few that, like, aren't the same. So it's not, management is not consistent between locations. I say this kind of applies to every role in the CP. You're gonna have that off day. You're gonna have that rude guest. You're gonna be told to smile when you've just heard out that, like, your aunt died or something. You're gonna, like, be told to be happy that you're there on a holiday when everyone's with their families and you're just alone. But that happens in every role. That isn't exclusive to merchandise. And a lot of times in merchandise, they just get angry at you and leave, so it's kind of a plus. Okay, so to the positives, the things I loved about merchandise. Overall, I loved merchandise, and I would do it again in a heartbeat. My coworkers were great. I loved all the full-time. I loved all the part-time cast members in my location. I got along with the CPs. I was generally the CP who would trade for the mid-afternoon or opening shift just because I liked having a little bit more hours, and those shifts usually had a little bit more. I was also the CP who, if, like, you didn't want less hours but you just wanted to trade your off day, I would totally switch. Some people completely bond with their roommates where they never leave their sides. My location, like, we had our groups, but it was still, everyone got along and supported each other, and it was amazing. So Merchandise overall, I would consider a low stress role. So, like, it's not like you're rushing to get the food out. You're not rushing to, like, clean the bathroom or finish your trash run or get so many people on mine train at a spot in time. You're checking out your line, you're clearing your line, giving everyone the right change. If your line gets too long, someone else will come and grab people out of it. It's not a big deal. And it's just, you're getting people to their next destination, but you're also talking with them and entertaining them at their current one. So you're never pressured to, like, do anything, like, super quickly and no one's going to complain that you're going too slow. Except for when, like, the bags are wet and they won't open and you don't know why they're wet and you have to throw them out and find new ones. And sometimes you'll be in a crowd and it'll be a little overwhelming, but I was never really overwhelmed on merchandise. It's really easy to trade shifts. I know CBs can't give away shifts anymore, but because merchandise is a universal role with multiple options for locations, the options to, like, trade are endless and you can pick up basically anywhere. Yes, you have the locations with specialized training, but there are still so many locations that you could, like, trade and switch and pick up extra hours on the hub that, like, it's not, I don't see it being as much as a problem as it could be for other roles. So, guest interaction. Merchandise is, the guest interaction isn't that long. It's not like other roles where, like, you could be standing on a curb for hours and, like, talking with them for a long time. Merchandise, it's more, you talk with them while you're checking them out and you move them on to the next thing. While, like, you do have those people, they'll, like, come up and hold a longer conversation with you, and that's perfectly fine. I love them to death. However, it's a lot easier to have, like, shorter conversations because so many people want to go on to the next thing. And it's a good way to gauge how you feel about guest interaction because you're not trapped into longer conversations and you're not awkwardly leaving shorter ones, I guess. Next is pin trading. Some cast members love it, some hate it. I personally loved it. Any opportunity to give a little kid a pin or to give, like, a parent who was just curious about a pin or an adult, like, I would just give away pins on my lanyard and be like, you want to do pin trading? Here, have a pin. Get started. It's a great way to talk with cast members because even if our pins are terrible, we still don't mind, like, talking with you, showing you what we got. Most locations have a pin board, which is usually better pins anyways. You just have to ask because we have to keep it hidden because people come up and steal the pins. But, like, pin trading is really fun. I'll do a whole nother post on how to politely trade for pins, but overall, I really enjoyed it. It helped me talk with a lot of guests, and it's usually cute little kids or, like, older people who are like, I've seen all those pins today, and it's like, me too! What a coincidence! But it was really fun, and it helped me create a lot of magical moments that I didn't anticipate creating on my program. So, next is costumes. I wore like a dozen costumes on my program because my work location with the 5 shops, the 2 holiday costumes, and our stock costume was 8 costumes. Plus, I picked up in the 4 other parks, and the 3 other parks. I picked up twice in Epcot, and Disney Springs. So I wore 13 costumes. And they're really fun. The costumes actually aren't as, like, uncomfortable as they look. Like, I was really worried about the Momente More costume because it had this, cuff thing that wrapped around your neck and had, like, a pin, and I was really worried. And the skirts, I was worried that I wasn't going to be able to find one long enough that I was comfortable with, but it's actually a really comfy costume because it was the shirts were so soft and the apron never touched you, and you could put that, like, scrunch thing, like, really low, and it wouldn't even touch you, but it would still look tight. So costumes are actually really nice. And the Adventureland pants had, like, holes in them, not holes, mesh, where like if you were hot, you could hold them out to the side to air down. We called them parachute pants for the pajama costume, and it was comfy. I really miss wearing the Main Street costume though for Glow, because it was simple, it was comfy. The jacket is my favorite jacket I wore. I love that jacket. But yeah, so the costumes are limitless. I wouldn't say any that I wore were uncomfortable, although wearing the long sleeve in Days of Christmas because I couldn't find the short sleeve shirt was a tad uncomfortable. But the costumes are actually really comfy, and they do a really good job about finding good fabrics to keep the cast members comfortable throughout the day. And if you want to see all my costumes, I'll just post a photo here. Now, gotta talk about why merchandise is probably the best role for a college program participant, or just anyone who wants to get started in Walt Disney World. So, there are various locations, like, besides a few of, like, the huge locations, you're gonna have multiple shops, you're gonna have multiple costumes. Each location has at least two, because they have their stock and their normal. And you can pick up anywhere, so you're not like, even though you might like not be much of a fan of your location, you can still go out and trade and find ones that you do like. And then when you put it in for part-time and full-time, you just put different locations down. Or, well, I don't think you can request it, but you can still, like, is request same location or request different location, but you can just do request different. And it's a great way to test the company, just because, like, some roles are a lot of hard work. Like, you're there to work on the CP, and I did work. I just enjoyed my work. So it was a good way for me to test how I felt about working for the company. I was also able to meet a lot of people in the other roles. Like, personally, before my CP, I thought I needed attractions because I'm a mechanical engineer. It makes sense. Rides are mechanical. You could be working a show in attractions. You could be working, like, there are some weird attractions that, like, don't relate to mechanical engineering at all. You could also be doing one of the more, like, showy attractions. Like, yeah, like the shows, and there are a couple others that I just wouldn't be best for. Also, even though you're talking with people, like, I found out on my CP that even though I didn't want to do quick service ever, I found out that if I could do it again, I would have put custodial higher. Because even though I'm, like, squeamish about, like, fluids and stuff, I still would have enjoyed the guest interaction. And I was able, from merchandise, to observe how I felt, how the other roles were. I was able to see the tolls it took on my friends. And I was able to decide which roles I actually really would want to come back to on a second program. So if I've sold you on merchandise, I got some advice for you. So if you want to, like, set yourself apart to try and increase your odds of getting merchandise in Walt Disney World, my first advice would be find a retail job near you that you can work part-time, seasonal, in order to, like, get some cash experience and, like, guest interaction at, just so that they see that you've already been in that industry. Second, I would show a strong aptitude for mathematics. This is going to be different for some people because some people just aren't going to be good for math. Be it if, like, you're an accounting minor or a math minor, or if you just work the cash register wherever you're working. Like, say even if you're working, like, at Chick-fil-A, you could, like, specialize in the cash register and say that you're really confident at it and you would love to go full-time retail. Also, be excited about making magic for others. I feel like that's something that's not stressed enough in the application. And merchandise, even though, yes, you're selling stuff, you're part of the bottom line that helps make profit for the company, you're still making magic for guests. And even though you gave someone a pin that cost them 25 cents for the company, you made that person happy, you made them come back, you made them look for you, and you made someone's day. It might not seem like a big deal to you, but just having that difference where you're willing to go the extra mile and help someone, like, don't give away everything. Like, they get mad at that. I tried that once because I was in a mood and didn't want to deal with people. But still, just be open to making magic and trying to do it for the people who need it most. Yeah. But merchandise is a great role. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments below. If you're going to be merchandise this upcoming spring, let me know. I'm so excited. Going back with you. Maybe I'll trade a couple shifts to work with you. And I'll see you real soon.
All those days chasing down a daydream. All those years living in a blur. All that time never truly seeing things the way they were. Now she's here shining in the starlight.